So DICE have nerfed the Howitzer tank. We all knew this was going to happen. If you played in the Howitzer on the beta, it was a complete beast and people were going on massive kill streaks. I managed to get myself a 98 for 0 kill streak, nearly managed to get the 100 kill streak. They weren't that difficult to use, and the fact that they were both brilliant against infantry and other tanks meant that they were really overpowered. Now of course this nerf was going to happen, but in my opinion DICE have been a bit clunky and gone overboard and done far too much to the tank and the light tank in general when it comes to making it more balanced. Nevertheless, as a Battlefield player and a Battlefield vehicle player, I'm going to find a way around it, and for me the best tank now is the flanker tank. Now this is a variant of the FT-17 light tank, and that's what this video will focus on, some tips and tricks without the loadout itself and the best way to use that tank, and also the best maps to use it on, because although we haven't got custom servers at the minute, there might be a map that you just want a tank on, and for me that's really important, knowing what you're getting into. So just a teeny bit of background, the Renault FT, also referred to as the FT-17, is a French-made light tank, however we can use it of course on all sides on Battlefield 1. It weighed approximately 6 or 7 tons, so as you can tell it's not as heavy as the bigger tanks and could only hold 2 troops in reality, but in this game it's only going to hold 1. You're in control of the driving and of course the turret. Now an interesting fact about this tank is it was the first tank to have a rotating turret, and that is a massive deal because you can see all sides and protect yourself from enemies without having to rotate the entire tank. And as you can tell from Battlefield 1, even though it's kind of more arcadey and sped up than real life, they're still really slow. And that's one of the big disadvantages of the A7B and the Landship. You have to rely on teammates to help you out, and as we know in Battlefield games, you can't always do that. You've got to be able to work on your own a lot of the time. Now in regards to the loadout with the flanker tank, you are going to be offered 2 different weapons. You're going to have a canister shell similar to that of the LAV in Battlefield 4. It's an automatic firing canister shell that demolishes infantry at close to medium range. It's also pretty effective at long range as long as your target isn't moving, because leading the shots can be quite tricky. You're then given a 20mm autocannon that can deal pretty heavy damage to other vehicles, most noticeably light tanks. It's very effective at the light tank that's facing you side on. Now a big problem with this, however, is the fact that they share the same magazine. So you have 15 rounds, and if you were to switch between the canisters, so you're shooting an infantry and then a tank comes around the corner, you switch to your secondary and you start shooting them with the autocannon, you're going to be using ammo from the same pool. So while with other tanks you're going to have 2 different options where you can fire a shell and then fire something else and there's no need to reload, you switch between the 2. With this one you have to reload quite a lot. You have to reload after every 15 shots essentially, and a really good tip for that is always reload, because it doesn't take too long. Always reload, even if you fire 1 shot. If you've got a little gap, just get used to reloading those cannons as fast as possible. You're then given a quick repair, which is really useful, as when you get disabled and your tank can't move, you tap 3 on your keyboard or whatever it is on your controller and it enables you to keep on moving. It gets your tank a little bit more health, get rid of being disabled, you can drive off. It's like having the extinguisher in BF4. The 4th option on your loadout is the anti-tank mines that you can drop behind you. The biggest deal for me with that is that you can drop them in tactical positions, maybe say on, you can drop them on the bridges and stuff like that, and they're really difficult to see because they're like a little suitcase on the floor, they blend in, and of course you're going to get yourself a lot of kills on tanks. A really nice way to do this is if you've got a tank chasing you and you've got to get away, drop a couple of mines and it works a treat, and you'll pick up kills really easily. Now of course the most effective way to use this tank is the same way in Battlefield 4. Have somebody repairing you or a couple of people repairing you, keep yourself alive and be sensible where you put your tank. Don't put it in the middle of a large open space where you're going to take a load of hits and you're visible to everybody. But of course it doesn't work like that because not many people are running the repair tool. So if you can't have that sort of approach to the game, the best way to deal with infantry and the best way to deal with the enemies is to be smart. Make sure that you engage tanks only when you have the advantage, engage infantry at a distance because grenades are so powerful, and make sure you always check your surroundings by clicking C on your keyboard and looking at the full view of the tank. As you can see in all my gameplay, I'm always changing to that when I'm repairing, when I'm just down an alleyway or when I'm crossing a road or anything like that. I'm always looking because you get a better field of view. You can also change your field of view in the options. I suggest changing your 3rd player vehicle field of view to as high as it will go. This way you get a better area around your tank, and you can see things coming from a longer distance. As I mentioned, make sure you keep your ammo reloaded as much as possible and drop mines in tactical positions. Also be careful not to drop mines and then sit on them, because I'm pretty certain if someone shoots that with a rocket gun, it's going to go up and you're going to go up with it. So be careful where you put them if it's a place where you're planning to retreat to and sit. You'll see a couple of videos on my channel of gameplay from maps such as Monte Grappa and Foul Fortress. I've also got some gameplay in the background here. Now these maps aren't ideal for the tank because it's such a wide open area, so you have to be really systematic as how you move through that map. Say for instance you're playing on Monte Grappa and you're pushing the, I forget which flag it is, but you're pushing the flag above the tunnel that has the anti-everything gun on top with the two massive cannons. Now, a lot of people will just run up in a tank and sit on that flag and get themselves destroyed. The better way to move up, and I found this on a lot of Battlefield 1 maps, is follow the infantry round, wait for them to get to the flag, and you're moving up with them, almost like you're just playing on foot, but you're in a tank, of course, but you're not going as you would in BF4 and leading the line and smashing everything out the way. You're being quite systematic and careful as you move up, and that way you keep yourself alive. And the reason I do this is because of the new repair system. You can't be taking damage when you repair. So if, say you, for instance, push up onto that flag, it's all going well, you kill 3 or 4 people, you kill the enemy tank that's there, but then you get hit by a rocket gun, and then a plane drops some bombs on you, you're down to 25 HP. You're trying to repair because you got to repair because you're up on this flag and you're going to get yourself taken down, but then someone keeps hitting you with K bullets or someone keeps throwing a grenade on you. There's nothing you can do about it. So the better way to do that would be to push up slowly, take people down, make sure you're on full HP, push a bit more, take a few people down, make sure you're on full HP, and just work through the flags that way. You'll definitely see it in my gameplay, and it's a great tactic because you stay alive the longest, and that is the way you want to be tanking on this game, especially if you want to help your team out. I've also got a little clip in the background of me taking down a tank. I'm going to make a video on how to most effectively take out tanks because I know a lot of people still think they're quite powerful. Now, the best way to counter this as a tanker and to stop yourself getting taken out by a pesky infantry or a pesky squad is, again, to keep your distance and make sure you know where the infantry are going to be. Now, this tanker under the bridge should have known that there are going to be people on top and they're going to be running across and jumping down, but obviously he wasn't in third person looking around, he didn't see me, and there's nothing he could do about it. Even the infantry around him were unaware. Now, if that was me in the tank, I'd have been in third person, I'd have seen him coming, and yeah, I might have been hit by the grenade, but there's no way that I'd have just not put up a fight like he did. He just sat there and took it all. That just shows how important it is to have that big field of view and change to third person whenever you can. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. I'll have plenty more tips and tricks for the light tank, and of course we'll be taking a look at the other tanks as well in Battlefield 1. Cheers for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.